Good morning and welcome to the ESI Africa Media Lounge here at African Utility Week. I'm Claire Falkvane, Managing Editor of Spintelligent Publishing, and with me today we have James Van der Walt, who is the CEO of Solar Turtle. Now, James, thank you first of all for being here. Really appreciate your time. Can you briefly explain who or what Solar Turtle is and why the model that you use was seen as viable?
Well, first of all, we're a social business, so we focus on giving the power of tomorrow to those who are powerless today. And how we're going to do it is we're going to start solar kiosks, but ultra-secure ones that we call turtles. Now, if you think about the turtle, what do turtles do when they're threatened? They climb into their shell, and then they hide away and wait for the bad guys to go away. And when you look at South Africa or Southern Africa, or Africa in general, is what are we very much defined by? Is people in the foreign world think of us as unsafe, insecure. And us as a women empowerment company, we must make little businesses that's actually secure for women to sell electricity on the ground. So that's what we want to do. Start small little businesses called Solar Turtles in rural communities for women.
So, you've obviously been working quite extensively in Africa at the moment. And I was wondering if you could talk us through perhaps one of your successes and what the timeline looked like for that success.
All right, well, let me tell you about the pilot that we rolled out in 2015. We worked together with Sanedi and TIA and Stellenbosch University, as well as the Department of Science and Technologies, to specifically roll out a program to do ICT charging of devices. So what government wants to do is they want to replace all the tablets in rural schools with, all the textbooks in rural schools with tablets, so they can do e-learning. A great idea. But as soon as they put electricity out there, the solar panels get stolen, the copper wires get stolen, and then the school has to run on generators again. And you can't charge e-learning devices on generators. So the government said, like, please, we need a solution. How do we securely power schools and charge all these tablets? And that is where the Solar Turtle came in. And in 2015, we rolled out our first container-based flip-open solar kiosk design. So what made it unique, why the model, to get back to the previous question, what made the model so successful is that we actually secure the solar solution. So solar panels are not left outside where the tortoise can steal it at night. The whole thing folds away in itself like a turtle. And then in the morning, when the lady arrives at a little business, she unlocks the container, goes inside, unlocks the solar panels, which then flips open like a book. And then she pushes it up with gas springs, almost like a garage door. So you only need to push it up a little, it goes into position, and now it can harvest the rays of the sun, making power for her, which she then uses to charge all these devices for the school and power the school. And instead of giving this money now to Eskom, she takes this money. Now she's the green entrepreneur, the turtlepreneur as we call it. Now this little business that we launched in 2015 has been running now for the last 2 years in the Eastern Cape, close to Coffee Bay in a rural school. Where it gives power for about 3,000 kids that doesn't have any electricity. And it's been successful ever since. I mean, we got that initial grant to build the container and set up the little business, and since then it's been paying salaries and making profit and buying stock and expanding their business as well. So the lady is actually taking this thing, is actually telling like, oh, I'm not just going to sell electricity. She's added a printer inside, and she's added a little fridge inside. She's selling lollipops and ice creams and all things that you can think of for kids at school. So she's becoming more and more integrated into the community, which is what we want. We want the communities to make it their own.
Is this system only being used by the school kids, or are there other people within the community that are using it to charge their own devices?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. No, we started with school because the kids are always more technology advanced. You can see every kid in that rural community has a cell phone. You know, but if you want to get new technologies like solar into households, kids is a much easier route in. So we promote it with them and they think, hey mom, look, there's the thing at school. You can go buy a solar panel at school now and get electricity at home. Say, oh, okay, well, what is this solar thing? And the kids will be able to explain it because they're very forward when it comes to technology. So that is our strategy. Target the schools with new technology and the rest will flow naturally. And the community will, as was shown, the community comes and use it. I mean, they are primary buyers of electricity when the school closes over the holidays, and it's the only people that buy electricity from us would be the rest of the community.
That's such a wonderful story. So I do have to ask, what are some of the key lessons that you've learned along this journey?
I'll tell you now what happened last year, because that just gives you a good, because we know, well, we're going to be super secure, we're going to be so safe, you know, we must keep women safe. And what happened last year, they wanted to burn down all the schools. You know, South Africa lost something like 23 schools, our universities got burnt to the ground as well, and our school was no exception. So the angry mob showed up at the school and said, like, we demand services, we don't have electricity, running water, there's no roads, there's nothing here, and government's been promising us for ages. Let's just burn down the school, that'll get their attention, you know? And it was literally like 5 minutes. They showed up and they came to the container. Our container is right on the school grounds, and they said, like, listen, we're taking control of the school, get out. So the ladies just closed themselves into the container and waited for the bad guys to go away, which is how it's intended to work. But they didn't have time to, like, oh, let's go outside and quickly fold away the solar panels. There's 5 minutes. You don't have that time, and you're scared. You run away. Yeah. So the first lesson we learned is there's a demand for an automated system. You don't have time. You press the button, let the thing close in by itself, and you wait inside the shell and wait for the bad guys to go away. So lesson 1 is automation is now key. Use this technology, use this power that we got. You know, there's no extra money involved in using that electricity and making a thing fold away itself. And it's not that difficult to maintain as well. So we're busy now with a new design for them, and we're rolling it out in Philippines in the next couple of months to test this automated, press the button like a transformer, press the button, and the whole thing falls away, and you just wait for the bad guys. And in the mornings, you press the button, it folds open again. So that was number 1. Another 2 is this thing about entrepreneurship in South Africa. It's a very, very difficult, especially in the women communities. You know, if you think it's South Africans feel like if I'm working for myself, then actually, you know, I'm not good. If I'm a really good, productive South African, I will be having a good job. A good job defines my status.
Yes.
It's a status symbol. And that's a big problem for entrepreneurship, because nobody wants to go and work for themselves because they will be looked down upon. And that is a problem that we have to address. And that is one of the key things that I want to do with the Solar Turtle. Why is a women empowerment thing? Empower them, make champions in the next generation. Again, schools, the next generation can be different. Maybe they won't look upon entrepreneurship as the down in the dumps thing, and maybe the women will see, there's a woman running this business. Maybe I can be an entrepreneur. And that's that inspiration that's really what is driving this solar business.
So it must be quite good to feel that not only are you providing a very useful service to a community, but that you are actually empowering and sharing capacity building with more than a single person. I mean, you literally are in a position where you could be changing a generation's outlook.
We want to take care of the world, take care of the caregivers. All the research have shown that if you give them money to the men in the community, they're the first ones to show up and, ooh, I'll do it. We're the first ones to run away as soon as like, okay, got enough now, let's go drink, let's go party. If you give them money to women, all the research shown, they're more likely to take that money and invest it in their own community, in their own households. They'll make sure the kids are fed, they make sure they have their uniforms for school, have a good education, have a good house. That stuff is for women important. So it makes stupid sense if you're not going to support them if you want to do real impact in communities.
And I do have to ask, how have the children reacted to having this opportunity?
Yeah, it's phenomenal actually. Teenagers, what's the most important thing for a teenager? Their phone. They'll rather go, the kids get, their parents give them a little bit of money to go buy their food for the day at school. And what do they spend their money on? They rather go and spend their money to recharge their phone at the Solar Turtle and go buy the food for the day. They can live on a couple of dry pieces of bread. Phone must be charged at all times. That's more important than anything. It's interesting as humans.
So my last question for this morning is, tell me about the Africa Prize.
Yeah, no, that is a bit of very exciting news. So we're one of the finalists. It's social businesses, African businesses that's working in the impact space, if you want to call it, that's really making a difference. So the Royal Academy of Engineering has now received, I think, something like 800 applicants, which they then thinned down to about 16, and we're one of those 16 finalists. So since last year, it's about a 6-month course that they're taking as an accelerator, business accelerator, taking us, telling us how to present, how to look at your business models, think business, you know, because a lot of us are social people.
Yes.
We think about how we want to change the world, but financial models doesn't always come easily to us. And also the networking, they like, we're small, we don't know anybody. So they say like, oh, come, we'll introduce you to Shell, we'll introduce you now to the German consulate, we will introduce you to this person and that person. And they've opened so many doors. And through their networks, we already received this Philippi project that I told you about. The Royal Academy of Engineering is going to be funding that. So already this networks that they've opened up is evolving us as a social business as well. So we're going back now to the finals now in Nairobi, flying on Sunday, where we're going to now see who's going to be the final 3 people who's going to finally take home the prize.
Well, I certainly hope that we're going to find out. And if you're wanting to know how Solar Turtle did, be sure to have a look on the ESI Africa website. James, unfortunately, that is pretty much all that we have for today. But thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. And I look forward to seeing your journey and seeing where it takes you. Yeah,
come and see the one in Philippi, which we're going to launch it there probably in August if it all goes to well. It's going to be amazing to come and see it fold away by itself. And it's on our doorsteps for a change.
Thank you. I'll take you up on that.
Right.
So coming to you from African Utility Week, I'm Claire Falkvane. Thanks so much for watching.